Welcome back to Panda Audiobooks. We have crossed deep into the inner graveyard, a place where the light of the stars cannot reach and time itself seems to stand still. In our last episode, Jian Wushuang barely escaped the Iron-Blood General by leaping into a spatial rift. Now, he and his companion are stranded among the floating remains of beings that once ruled the cosmos. Today, the silence speaks. Chapters 191 through 195 bring Wushuang face to face with a survivor of a forgotten era. Hidden within the ribcage of a mountain-sized god, they find the Hermit of the Void, an ancient master who has been waiting for a successor of the heavenly creation skill for 10,000 years. Wushuang is about to learn that his father's imprisonment wasn't just a kidnapping, it was a safeguard. The power Wushuang wields isn't just a skill, it's a key to a door that the divine sovereigns will do anything to keep locked. The dark history of the sword god begins to unfold. Chapter 191 starts now. Chapter 191, The Rankings. Jian Wushuang and the other geniuses all looked serious. Rewards from the 12 dynasty? But no one present cared about it. What they really cared about were the old sects. The point battle in Sky Valley was a way to display their strength to the experts of the old sects. The experts from the old sects did not come to the 5-day hunt nor the selection battle in Qianzhong dynasty. But Sky Valley was different. The point battle would attract the interest of the old sects. And how the geniuses performed in Sky Valley would be viewed by the experts of the old sects. The point battle in Sky Valley will begin tomorrow. The battle will last for 10 days, so you guys should stay here tonight and prepare yourselves. No sooner than the words been uttered, the purple-robed elder closed his eyes, without giving Jian Wushuang and other geniuses one more glance. But this night was doomed to be restless for these 6 geniuses. The night was beautiful. A towering palace stood on a hill not far from the Sky Valley. The palace was ablaze with light. The easternmost plain had very few buildings since it was a plain. Even the bandits could only simply build mountain villages here. However, a palace existed on the hill. Inside the palace, people were singing and dancing. Several formidable auras radiated from here. The people who gathered in the palace were the monarchs of the 12 dynasties. The monarch in Qianzhong dynasty, deity, was there as well. But since Qianzhong dynasty was just a small empire, he was sitting at the far corner. Those monarchs were talking and laughing. At this moment, a red-robed woman stepped inside. Monarchs, the geniuses from the 12 dynasties have reached the Sky Valley entrance. The points they gained in the 5-day hunt have been counted, and this is the list, the red-robed woman respectfully said. Ha ha, finally. Hurry, give it to us. Hurry up, let me have a look. Having been rushed by the monarchs, the red-robed woman gave every monarch a list. The list did not only contain the points every genius got in the hunt, but also a ranking according to their points. Ha ha. First place is Meng Wuqian, who is from our Angel Empire. I expected that. At the head of the table, there were 2 seats which were obviously bigger than the others. 2 people were sitting in the seats, and both were wearing an emperor robe. One of them was an elder, who seemed to have experienced many of the vicissitudes of life without losing his majestic appearance. The other one was much younger. His behavior was a little bit frivolous, but what he said was extremely arrogant. They were monarchs of the 2 large empires in the 12 dynasties, which were the Cosmos Empire and the Angel Empire. The one who was laughing loudly was the frivolous young man, the monarch of Angel Empire. Ling Shuiyu, what a disappointing fellow, the experienced elder shouted in a deep voice. First place in the ranking was Meng Wuqian, who was from the Angel Empire. Second place was Ling Shuiyu, who was from the Cosmos Empire. Ha ha. The frivolous man laughed even louder. Don't be complacent. The points are just from the hunt in the first stage. It's just the beginning. We should focus on the upcoming point battle. The experienced elder looked at the frivolous man and said, Meng Wuqian is indeed ranked first according to the current points, but the ranking might change after the point battle, the elder continued. Oh, maybe. The frivolous man laughed. His eyes were filled with pride. He knew what the elder said was true, but he did not care. Since, at this moment, the Angel Empire had attracted more attention than the Cosmos Empire did. The other monarchs below were carefully reviewing the list as well. As expected, the geniuses who are ranked close to the top are from large empires. The geniuses in our middle-sized empires already did a good job just by being on the ranking. Look, there is a genius from the Qianzong dynasty ranked in the top 10. What? The monarchs in the palace were all stunned. They immediately looked at Deity, who was sitting in the corner. By then, Deity was reviewing the list as well. After seeing Jian Wushuang's name in the top 10, his eyes were glistening. Haha, tilde, good job, the young man did a good job. Deity could not help laughing loudly as he spoke. Seeing the state of Deity, the monarchs of the other dynasties around him all looked embarrassed, and a few of them were even jealous. Drift Cloud Empire is a middle-sized empire, but we failed to produce a genius who could make it into the top 10 of the rankings. Yet this Qianzong dynasty, which is just a small empire, managed to have one? A few monarchs from the middle-sized empires felt it was a loss of face for them. But they could control themselves. After all, these points were just for the first stage, which didn't mean anything. The coming point battle in stage 2, which would begin soon, was the real competition for the geniuses of the 12 dynasties. There would be an updated list after the competition. That list would be the most important. By the way, the point battle of Sky Valley will begin tomorrow. At that time, the experts from the old sects will come to have a look, the frivolous man said suddenly. No sooner had the monarchs in the palace heard someone speak about the old sects, than they immediately quieted down. Many old sects will come this time, I already knew 6 of them. Among the 6 old sects, one is the Wilderness Sword sect. The frivolous man smiled and said, Wilderness Sword sect? One of the 8 sects of Nanyang. How could the easternmost hunt this year attract someone from the Wilderness Sword sect? Everybody in the palace was in shock. There were differences in strength among the old sects. The Wilderness Sword sect, which was known as one of the 8 sects of Nanyang continent, had a strong heritage that was naturally better than other old sects. Needless to say, the geniuses would have greater opportunities in the Wilderness Sword sect than in some of the other old sects. The Wilderness Sword sect? It's a sect that specializes in sword skills. Daixi's eyes lit up and muttered, Jian Wushuang is talented in sword principle. With such talent in sword principle, he might be valued by the experts of the Wilderness Sword sect. All right, let's end the party. You guys have the rest of the night to meet your geniuses. You can show them the list and give them some instructions. Tomorrow, everything will depend on their own ability, the experienced elder said sonorously. As soon as the elder uttered this, the monarchs in the party fanned out one after another. She had lost no time gliding towards Sky Valley with the list in his hand. Chapter 192, 2 Monsters. At one of the entrances to Sky Valley, the remaining 6 geniuses of the Qianzong dynasty had gathered together. Feng Yuqian, congratulations. Brother Feng, you made a breakthrough before entering Sky Valley. You're so lucky. I also envy him. The other 5 people stared at Feng Yuqian with smiles on their faces. Feng Yuqian suddenly felt like he could make a breakthrough. Now, he was currently in the half-step yin-yang realm. After the breakthrough, Feng Yuqian's strength immediately soared. The point battle in Sky Valley was done in groups composed of the dynasties. The promotion of Feng Yuqian's strength would also enhance the battle strength of their team. So they were, naturally, happy to see that. Ha ha, so lucky, said Feng Yuqian while laughing naturally. At this moment, a great figure suddenly appeared. It was Deity in his imperial robe. Your Majesty! Jian Wushuang and other 5 geniuses greeted him respectfully. Greetings to you, monarch. The purple-robed elder who was waiting beside them also gave him a light greeting. I have something to tell these guys. You'd better keep away from us for a while, Deity said while glancing at the purple-robed elder. The purple-robed elder nodded and subsequently stepped back tactfully. You 6 did very well. Deity looked at Jian Wushuang and his comrades with a solemn expression and continued, but the point battle in Sky Valley is different from the hunt in the first stage. During the hunt in the first stage, you just battled with fugitives. Although the strength of those fugitives is strong, they aren't a real threat to you. But in the Sky Valley point battle, you're going to compete with the geniuses of the other 11 dynasties. None of them are weaker than you. Instead, Many of them are stronger than you. Here is the ranking. You'd better review it carefully. She gave Jian Wushuang the rankings that he attained at the banquet. Jian Wushuang immediately accepted it and opened it. The other 5 moved close to him. The ranking of those geniuses from the 12 dynasties, according to the points they obtained during the 5-day hunt. Jian Wushuang read it at first glance. First place on the rankings is the Meng Wuqian of the Angel Empire, with 6,877 points. Second place is the Ling Xueyu of the Cosmos Empire, with 5,900 points. Third place is Jiu Yang of the Cosmos Empire, with 1,944 points. Fourth place on the rankings, Angel Empire. Fifth place, Angel Empire. Sixth place, Cosmos Empire. At first glance, the geniuses from the 1st to 6th place on the ranking were, expectedly, all from the Cosmos Empire and the Angel Empire. It was normal for the 2 big dynasties to occupy the top 6 on the rankings, with each dynasty occupying 3 spots on average. Furthermore, the most important part was that the points they obtained were extremely high. First place, Meng Wuqian, got 6,877 points. Unbelievable. Seeing the points, even Jian Wushuang was shocked, let alone Bailey Chen and the others. Among the 6 of them, Jian Wushuang was the best, but he only obtained 1,388 points. For the others, Bailey Chen had the most, with only 349 points. However, Meng Wuqian collected 6,877 points in the short 5-day hunt. So what does this show? He should have killed at least 6 fugitives who were at the level of Blood Jade, and also should have killed many fugitives that are at the level of Purple Gold, Jian Wushuang muttered in shock. He did his best and finally killed a Blood Jade warrior. However, Meng Wuqian was much stronger. Not just Meng Wuqian. It was also true for Ling Xueyu, who was in 2nd place. Their points were much higher than the rest. After all, Jiu Yang, who ranked 3rd, only had 1,944 points. How did these 2 people kill so many Blood Jade killers in just 5 days? Said Jian Wushuang while frowning tightly. Blood Jade fugitives are at least at the peak profound Yin Void realm. In a fierce battle, even Jian Wushuang was not sure he would be able to kill them. After all, they wouldn't be stupid enough to just stand there and wait for Jian Wushuang to kill. Once something happened, the opposite side would immediately flee, and all the Yin Void experts were able to void walk. Once they began void walking, there would be no way to stop them. It was only because of good luck that Jian Wushuang killed that Blood Jade fugitive last time. The opposite side was too conceited. But not all of the Blood Jade fugitives were conceited. Since it was not because of luck, there should be another reason. The reason was Meng Wuqian and Ling Xueyu. They were so powerful that the peak profound Yin Void realm experts never had a chance to void walk. They were instantly killed. Right now, even Jian Wushuang didn't have such strength. Frightening. I thought that Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun were the strongest. It is obvious that the exceptional geniuses from 2 large empires are much stronger than them. 6,877 points. My God, how did he do that? Bailey Chen and Feng Yuqian stared at the rankings with incredible expressions. Especially Feng Yuqian. He had made a big progress just now, so he already had much more confidence in the Sky Valley Point battle. But now, he lost some of his confidence. Next to them, Mu Yingying, Yang Zishuan, and Su Ru also had grave expressions. Hey, Jian Wushuang. What is your rank? Bailey Chen added. Jian Wushuang immediately looked at the list and found his rank. Jian Wushuang, from the Qianzong dynasty, 9th place with 1,388 points. 9th place? Bailey Chen was astonished and then looked at Jian Wushuang and said, "You are so powerful, how come you are only ranked 9th? Jian Wushuang smiled briefly, but his heart was filled with astonishment. It really was astonishing. Among the Gold Core Realm warriors in Qianzong dynasty, there was no doubt that he was the strongest. However, the Qianzong dynasty was only a small empire. Undoubtedly, the world outside Qianzong dynasty was vast. It was not only the 12 northwestern dynasties that had countless geniuses. Some of them were not any weaker than him, and some of them were even stronger than him. How do you feel after reading this list? She asked. I'm feeling a lot of pressure, Bailey Chen answered directly. After I made my breakthrough to half-step yin-yang, my strength had soared. So I expected to rank in the top 10 among the geniuses of 12 dynasties. But, in reality, I'm not even in the top 20. Bailey Chen noticed that he was ranked 26th on the list. Jian Wushuang, how do you feel? She asked and looked at Jian Wushuang. It is only the ranking for the hunt, which means nothing, Jian Wushuang said seriously. Yes, that's right. She smiled slightly and continued. This ranking is just to show you the strength of the geniuses from the different dynasties. It doesn't have any other use. Chapter 193. The final battle begins. She continued and said, even if you compete for a better ranking in the second stage, it will not matter much. After all, the experts from the old sects don't care about your current strength, only your potential. You just need to show your talent and potential in Sky Valley. It doesn't matter if you enter the top 10 of the ranking. As long as your talent and potential are high, the experts from those old sects will naturally come to you. After hearing this, the eyes of Jian Wushuang and the others brightened. Indeed, they did not have to compete for the top 10 ranks in the point battle. After all, they attached more importance to the old sects rather than the rankings. As long as those old sects paid attention to them and accepted them as disciples, that was enough. Tomorrow, there will be a lot of old sects that come to watch the battle. There will also be a top sect called the Wilderness Sword Sect, said Shi with a smile. Then he looked at Jian Wushuang. Wilderness Sword Sect? Jian Wushuang asked and raised his eyebrows. He was a warrior that focused on sword principle. He was naturally eager to join a sect that excelled in sword principle. Obviously, the Wilderness Sword Sect was most suitable for him. Jian Wushuang, with your talent, as long as you perform well in the point battle, you will attract the experts from the Wilderness Sword Sect, Shi said. I see. Jian Wushuang nodded seriously and a glimmer of desire emerged in his eyes. By the way, there is one more thing, Shi said as he looked around again. The point battle will be launched among teams of warriors from the same dynasty. The 12 dynasties should have 12 teams, but the two large empires have more geniuses participating in the point battle since their overall strength is better. Therefore, they will be separated into 4 teams. Altogether, there should be 14 teams competing in the point battle. You 6 are naturally a team. But since you are a team, you need a leader. The team leader must be chosen by you. I think it should be based on strength. Jian Wushuang's strength is the best among us, so the leader should him, Feng Yuqian said without hesitation. I agree. Bailey Chen raised his brows. I agree, too. Mu Yingying nodded. Naturally, Yang Zixuan and Su Ru also agreed. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang touched his nose and gave a faint smile. In that case, it has been determined. Shi also smiled and said, Jian Wushuang, the next 2 weeks are up to you. I'll warn you again when you leave tomorrow, you will each be given a token. If you find yourself at your limit, you must immediately crumple the token. This is equivalent to giving up the battle. Someone will come and take you away from Sky Valley. In any case, staying alive is more important. Yes. Jian Wushuang and the others nodded. From here on, you can only rely on yourselves. I wish you all good luck, Shi said, and then he immediately left. Jian Wushuang and the others looked towards the huge valley in front of them with great enthusiasm. Tomorrow, in that valley, they would finally meet with the geniuses from the other 11 dynasties. In the morning, as dawn was just breaking, as the sun began rising above the vast plains with the first red rays, gusts of battle intent were also rising. At the 12 entrances to Sky Valley, numerous talented geniuses from the 12 dynasties had already begun gearing up. They were waiting to enter the valley and begin their most intense battles. At one of the entrances to Sky Valley, the remaining 6 geniuses of the Qianzong dynasty were waiting together. This is the token representing your identity. Each of you has only one token. After entering Sky Valley, you must always wear this token on a conspicuous place of your body, so that the geniuses of the other dynasties can recognize you, that purple-robed elder said. What? Jian Wushuang and others felt it was quite strange but did not ask more. Soon after, a huge bell sounded and the whole Sky Valley suddenly became turbulent. It's time. Enter. the purple-robed elder said and waved. There was a hint of excitement in the 6 people's eyes as they moved directly along the entrance to the dense valley. At the same time, the geniuses of the other dynasties were also entering Sky Valley. The easternmost hunt was held every 10 years, and its climax was the point battle in Sky Valley. Now the game had begun. While the geniuses of the 12 dynasties rushed into Sky Valley, there was something in the air above the highest point in Sky Valley. Rumbled. Figures radiating an oppressive atmosphere were standing there. Some of their auras were hot, some were cold, some were violent, and some were easygoing. The monarchs of the 12 dynasties were all here, with guards separating them from the experts. In addition, the most noticeable experts were from the old sects. The experts from the old sects had arrived early this morning. At a glance, there were no fewer than 10 old sects, and the most striking sect was definitely the Wilderness Sword sect. A total of 3 people came from the Wilderness Sword sect. The leader of the 3 people was a middle-aged man with bird eyes. He was carrying a long sword and sitting on a suspended seat, with a towering aura. His entire body gave off the impression of a sword. This middle-aged man was followed by 2 other people. They were also carrying long swords and their auras were cold. Both of them had obviously entered the Yang Void Realm. Warriors of Yang Void Realm were naturally the most supreme experts in the Qianzhong dynasty. However, in the old sects on the Nanyang continent, there were many warriors in the Yang Void Realm. Mr. Lingqian, I never expected you to come in person this time. Mr. Lingqian, I haven't seen you for many years. How are you? Haha, Brother Lingqian, I did not realize that the Wilderness Sword sect was also interested in the easternmost hunt. Many of the surrounding experts and monarchs had greeted the middle-aged man with bird eyes. This middle-aged man, named Mo Lingqian, was a law enforcement elder in the Wilderness Sword sect. He had an extremely high status in the Wilderness Sword sect, so it was normal for so many people to attempt to flatter him. However, Mo Lingqian seemed very cold and indifferent to these people. To the people who called out to him, he just casually responded with a word. At the bottom of his heart, Mo Lingqian was full of disdain towards these people, including the 2 monarchs of the large empires. He never cared for them at all. Just a small northwest district that can be neglected in the entire Nanyang continent. What kind of geniuses can be born in such a small place? What was the sect master thinking when he made me come here? Mo Lingqian was very reluctant. He did not want to come here, he was only following the sect master's order. As for the 12 dynasties in the northwest, he looked down on them from the bottom of his heart. The so-called geniuses of the 12 dynasties in the northwest were negligible at best. Coming here was only a pretense. He did not plan to bring any disciples with him to the Wilderness Sword sect. Chapter 194. Encounter. Haha, here we go. As a monarch spoke, all the experts in the air looked down. They stood high above the area, so they could see the entire valley down below. Inside Sky Valley, the 6-warrior team of Qianzhong dynasty slowly walked forward. We will meet the geniuses from other dynasties. Which dynasty will we run into first? Bailey Chen said with excitement. Even though we are from a small empire, our overall strength is far better than before. We don't need to be afraid of the other dynasties, except the 2 large empires, Jian Wushuang said seriously. Even if we meet the 2 large empires. The 2 large empires are too strong, and half of the top 30 warriors in the ranking belong to them. Moreover, a lot of their warriors met the point requirement in the first stage. They have so many strong warriors that if they take action together it will be too unfair for the teams from other empires. They will also have problems distributing the points if they act in a large group, so they will definitely divide into smaller groups. A large empire will be divided into 2 teams or more. With our battle strength, we have a chance to win against one of their smaller teams. The 5 people beside Jian Wushuang all nodded to agree with his words. Indeed, the geniuses of Qianzhong dynasty this time were much stronger than those of previous years, which could be seen from the rankings. The 2 large empires possess half of the geniuses who rank the top 30 in the standings, and the rest places were carved up by the big contingent of middle-sized empires and small empires. In average, even those middle-sized empires got only 1 or 2 geniuses that could be included in the top 30. As for the small empires, None of the other 3 small empires had a genius that ranked in the top 30. While Qianzhong dynasty, 2 geniuses out of 6 were in the top 30, and Jian Wushuang was 9th place in the rankings. On top of that, Feng Yuqian's strength had soared since he broke through to the half-step yin-yang realm after the hunt, so he should have the strength to be ranked in the top 30 now. In other words, 3 out of the 6 had a battle strength that could rank in the top 30. That was even more powerful than those middle-sized empires. Although our overall battle strength is very good, the geniuses from other dynasties will still treat us like a normal small empire. Jian Wushuang smiled and said, if they dare to look down on us, then we will make them pay dearly for their arrogance. I am already looking forward to our first battle. The 6 geniuses were talking and laughing, dispersing the tension that surrounded them before. Suddenly, Jian Wushuang lifted his head and looked forward. Here comes our first opponent. The other 5 also looked forward. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Several figures abruptly appeared on the tree branches not far away. Jian Wushuang and the other 5 also halted their steps. With a distance of about 10 meters, the 2 teams faced each other. It's them. The Drift Cloud Empire. It's a middle-sized empire. Jian Wushuang and his teammates stared at the adversaries in front of them. There were 8 of them, 2 more than their 6-warrior team. Because the warriors all wore their identity tokens on an easily seen place, there was no problem recognizing them. The 8 geniuses from the Drift Cloud Empire were looking at Jian Wushuang and his team as well. It's the Qianzhong dynasty, one of the 4 small empires. Seems like we are lucky. The first team we met is from a small empire. A small empire. They are sending points to us, aren't they? The 8 geniuses from the Drift Cloud Empire were looking forward with sparkling eyes. There was a wide gap between middle-sized empires and small empires. Generally, the difference between geniuses was also huge. Only one of them is difficult to handle. Jian Wushuang, who ranked 9th, said the indigo-robed man who led the team from the Drift Cloud Empire. He looked over at the 6-man team and eventually fixed his sight on Jian Wushuang. That is Jian Wushuang. The 9th place in the rankings. His ranking is high, but there were too many accidents in the first stage. Even though he has more than me, it doesn't mean that he is stronger than me. The indigo-robed man's eyes were cold. The man's name was Lin Nan, and he was 16th in the rankings. His rank was lower than Jian Wushuang, but he didn't consider himself to be weaker than those who ranked in the top 10. Come on. A cold radiance flickered in the indigo-robed man's eyes, then his figure darted toward Jian Wushuang and his team like a phantom, followed by the other geniuses from Drift Cloud Empire. The first battle in Sky Valley. There was a hint of excitement in the 6 warriors' eyes. Go get them! Jian Wushuang shouted. In an instant, the 6 warriors pounced forward like eagles. The geniuses from the 2 teams collided. Go to hell! The indigo-robed man, Lin Nan, dashed towards Jian Wushuang first, silently thrusting a jet-black long stick toward him. The stick contained a high comprehension of earth and raging fire essences which were perfectly combined together. He was also in the half-step yin-yang realm, making the power that radiated from the stick seem horrifying. This man's battle strength is more powerful than Bailey Chen. Jian Wushuang frowned and thrust out his triple-kill sword. Clang! The stick shadow clashed with the triple-kill sword, causing the sword to tremble slightly. Then, Jian Wushuang instantly retreated, but Lin Nan followed after him. Boy, go to hell! Lin Nan looked ferocious, using his full power to demonstrate his stick skills. Streaks of stick shadows rushed out in succession, one by one, as if they were stacked together. In this short moment, Lin Nan had thrust out with no less than a dozen stick attacks that used his full power. While Jian Wushuang struggled to ward off the stick with his triple-kill sword, he kept retreating backwards and was quickly repulsed by the attacks. Whoosh! Jian Wushuang returned to the giant tree where he was before the fight started, away from Lin Nan. Bailey Chen and the others also appeared beside him, one after another. In the past moment, they all had encounters with their adversaries. How was it? Jian Wushuang looked at the other 5. Just so. The one who fought against me is in the half-step yin-yang realm, but his comprehension is low. I was able to match him without using my full strength just now. I can definitely kill him once I get serious, Bailey Chen smiled and said. Although I fought with two of them, they both have weak comprehension and they haven't reached half-step yin-yang realm yet. So I'm fairly sure that I can win, Feng Yuqian also said. I can remain undefeated against two of them. Yang Zishuan's voice was cold and indifferent. If I fight against one, I can gain the upper hand, said Mu Yingying. I can also compete against one of them, said Su Ru with a timid tone. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang could not help smiling. In the short fight just now, the 6 warriors didn't really exert all their strength. It was just a tentative test. After the test, they'd learned about the strengths of the 8 geniuses from the Drift Cloud Empire. Chapter 195, Frontal Defeat. This is our first battle in Sky Valley. Jian Wushuang looked around at the other 5 warriors and said, we must beat them smoothly and quickly to impress the experts from those old sects. Let's get them. Go and hit them. Ha ha, kill them. The 6 warriors immediately moved, and in the next moment, the battle between the 2 teams started again. But this time, Jian Wushuang and his team showed their true strength. What? Lin Nan, who was fighting Jian Wushuang, was the first one to shout out in astonishment. Lin Nan had been looking down on Jian Wushuang's strength, thinking that it was not bad for 9th place. But now, after Jian Wushuang demonstrated his true strength, a sword swept out, which contained 3 torrential sword essences, Gale, Raging Fire, and Water Drop. When it clashed with Lin Nan's long stick, he was instantly blown backwards. Half-step yin-yang realm, and his combined 2 essences. His battle strength is only a little bit better than Ouyang Haoqian, whom I killed. But he is still much weaker than Shui Yun. Jian Wushuang's eyes were cold as a sword light blazed forward in the next moment. Selfless sword technique, idealistic form. The sword light pierced the air like a flood dragon and appeared in front of Lin Nan in the blink of an eye. Lin Nan swung his long stick, struggling to withstand the coming attack. But the sword light stormed toward him and knocked his long stick back. Then a hint of killing intent flashed in Jian Wushuang's eyes. Formless sword art. The 9th move was displayed in an instant. Shua! The sword swept through Lin Nan's throat at an amazing speed. Lin Nan's eyes were wide open as he died. He couldn't imagine how Jian Wushuang, who should be weaker than him, could attack with such amazing battle strength. 3 sword moves. It took Jian Wushuang only 3 sword moves to defeat him this time. The first sword move knocked him backward, the second one blew away the long stick in his hand, and the last one killed him mercilessly. Smoothly and quickly. The situations in the other battlefields around him were also one-sided. Bailey Chen, Feng Yuqian, and Yang Zishuan's strengths completely erupted. Bailey Chen was already 26th in the rankings. But Feng Yuqian and Yang Zishuan had displayed a battle strength that could almost compare with Bailey Chen's. How is this possible? Their battle strength increased. They didn't improve. They just deliberately hid their strength. Oh, no! As a sudden cry sounded out, the geniuses from the Drift Cloud Empire looked toward the voice. They happened to see the scene where Lin Nan was killed by Jian Wushuang. These geniuses' faces drastically changed in an instant. Withdraw. Escape now. Is Chenzong dynasty really a small empire? These geniuses from Drift Cloud Empire were incomparably frightened as they fled in disorder, not daring to stay any longer. But since the battle already started, it was hard to escape. Go to hell. Ha ha, stay here. Bailey Chen and the other warriors immediately chased after them. Meanwhile, Jian Wushuang, who had just killed Lin Nan, started to take action as well. In the end, only 2 of the 8 geniuses from Drift Cloud Empire were lucky enough to escape, while the rest of the 6 geniuses were ruthlessly killed by the 6-warrior team. Jian Wushuang and the others stood in the battlefield, looking at the dead bodies of the geniuses from Drift Cloud Empire around them. Smiles emerged on their faces. This was their first battle in Sky Valley. Their adversary was Drift Cloud Empire, one of the 6 middle-sized empires. Yet, they defeated this team perfectly. Only 2 of the 8 geniuses from Drift Cloud Empire escaped by luck, while the other 6 warriors, including 2 geniuses who were in the half-step yin-yang realm, were killed. As for the 2 escaped geniuses, they should have no choice but to crumble their tokens and give up. That was to say, Drift Cloud Empire's geniuses were wiped out because of this battle. Up in the air, above the area. Ha ha. Well down, so well down. She pounded the table and stood up, with a dense glow sparkling in his eyes and a surprised smile on his face. On the contrary, the monarch of Drift Cloud Empire's face turned rather livid, while the monarchs of the other dynasties were also wearing a strange expression. How could a small empire defeat a middle-sized empire face-to-face? Are the geniuses of Drift Cloud Empire really so disappointing? It's not that they are disappointing. It's because those geniuses from the Qianzong dynasty this time are unusually extraordinary. Indeed. We all saw the battle just now. Among the 6 geniuses from Qianzong dynasty, 4 of them have enough battle strength to be placed in the top 30 of the rankings. Not only that, Jian Wushuang is 9th place in the rankings. With a strength like this, it is stupid for those geniuses from other dynasties to still think of them as a team from an ordinary small dynasty. Those monarchs were all sighing. The Sky Valley Point battle had just begun, and Drift Cloud Empire was the first dynasty that was defeated. So to speak, the battle was a disgrace to the Drift Cloud Empire. In contrast, Qianzong dynasty was shining this time. Even the experts from those old sects, who were gathered together in the air, noticed Jian Wushuang and his team. Bring me the information of those little guys. Attendants immediately gave the information of Jian Wushuang and his team to the experts from the old sects. The attendants who were qualified to appear here were all Yin Void warriors. The experts from the old sects read the information with interest. Qianzong dynasty, although just it is a small empire, has some pretty outstanding geniuses this time. Yes, especially the leading one called Jian Wushuang. He is only in the profound gold core realm, but his strength is already so incredible. In addition, he is very young, under 20 years old. Wow, combining gale, raging fire, and water drop sword essences together at such a young age is very impressive. These experts were laughing and talking, but they still looked calm. Sir, here is the information on the geniuses from the Qianzong dynasty. An attendant submitted the information to Mo Lingqian. Put it here, Mo Lingqian said casually, but didn't even bother to look at it. Mr. Lingqian, the little guy named Jian Wushuang is quite good, and luckily for him, he is a warrior cultivating sword principle. Aren't you interested in him? Another expert from an old sect asked him. Jian Wushuang. Mo Lingqian looked down at the ground, sneered, and said, combining 3 sword essences, so what? The 3 essences he comprehended are just normal essences. He hasn't even mastered a special essence. The Wilderness Sword sect won't accept such trash. If any of you are interested in that little guy, you are welcome to take him in as a disciple. And with that bone-chilling revelation about the true purpose of the primordial sword, we conclude chapter 195. Wushuang now knows the truth. His father is being held at the Eclipse Pillar, the center of the sovereign's power. But the Hermit has given him a warning. The more Wushuang cultivates, the more he becomes a beacon for something even more dangerous than the divine sovereigns. With the Ironblood general still scouring the graveyard and the path to the Eclipse Pillar revealed, Wushuang must master the 3rd form of the heavenly creation skill before the next confrontation. Join us next time for our 200-chapter milestone. In chapters 196 through 200, Wushuang begins his final training under the Hermit and prepares for a rescue mission that will set the entire Great Void on fire. Thank you for listening to Panda Audiobooks. If you're ready for the 200-chapter celebration, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us in the comments. Do you think Wushuang's father is still the man he remembers?